Hola, buenos noches, and good evening. This is your weekly news report, and I'm your host, Pedro. A son of notorious Mexican drug kingpin El Chapo pleaded guilty Monday to U.S. drug trafficking charges, months after his brother entered a plea deal. Known locally in Mexico as the Chapitos, or Little Chapos, Joaquin Guzman Lopez and his brother, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, are accused of running a faction of the Sinaloa cartel. Federal authorities in 2023 described the operation as a massive effort to send staggering quantities of fentanyl into the U.S. Joaquin Guzman Lopez pleaded guilty to 2 counts of drug trafficking and continuing criminal enterprise. He and another longtime Sinaloa leader, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, were arrested in July 2024 in Texas after they landed in the U.S. on a private plane. Both men have previously pleaded not guilty to various drug trafficking, money laundering, and firearms charges. In July, Ovidio Guzman Lopez became the first son of drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman to enter a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to drug trafficking, money laundering, and firearms charges tied to his leadership role in the cartel. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is serving a life sentence after being convicted in 2019 for his role as the former leader of the Sinaloa cartel, having smuggled mountains of cocaine and other drugs into the United States over 25 years. The brothers allegedly assumed their father's former role as leaders of the cartel. Now here's Rafa with our next top story.
The search for missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 will resume on December 30th. Malaysia's Transport Ministry said on Wednesday, more than a decade after the Beijing-bound flight disappeared in one of the world's greatest aviation mysteries. Flight MH370, a Boeing 777, was carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew when it vanished en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing in 2014. Multiple search operations for the plane have been conducted since then, but all proved fruitless. Malaysian investigators initially did not rule out the possibility that the aircraft had been deliberately taken off course. Debris, some confirmed and some believed to be from the aircraft, has washed up along the coast of Africa and on islands in the Indian Ocean. A 495-page report into the disappearance in 2018 said the Boeing 777's controls were likely deliberately manipulated to go off course, but investigators could not determine who was responsible and stopped short of offering a conclusion on what happened, saying that depended on finding the wreckage. Investigators have said there was nothing suspicious in the background. Financial affairs, training, and mental health of both the captain and co-pilot. Malaysia will pay the firm $70 million if substantive wreckage is found during the search on the seabed of an area in the southern Indian Ocean covering 5,790 square miles. Now we send it back to Pedro for our next top story.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's Vaccine Advisory Panel on Friday rolled back a decades-long recommendation that all newborns get a first dose of the hepatitis B vaccine within 24 hours of birth. The vote came after a day and a half of heated debate and confusion that included misinterpreted data and pleas from public health experts to uphold recommendations for the vaccine that protects against an incurable infection. Acting CDC Director Jim O'Neill, a former investment executive who does not have a medical background, but previously served at the Health and Human Services Department under President George W. Bush, will now choose whether to adopt the panel's recommendations. The panel did not change the current recommendation to vaccinate newborns whose mothers test positive for hepatitis B or whose infection status is unknown. Hepatitis B can be transmitted from mother to child during delivery and can lead to liver disease, cancer, and death. After Kennedy's shakeup of the Vaccine Advisory Panel in June, many states have started to ignore the panel's guidance and defer instead to recommendations from professional societies or newly formed public health alliances. Now here's Ariana with a look at your weekly forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm your chief meteorologist, Ariana, with a look at your weather for the coming week. There's a multi-day heavy precipitation threat for the Pacific Northwest early next week. A strong westerly flow over the broad ridge will bring a wavering atmospheric river into the interior. Northwest with heavy rain and snow next week. Cold weather and clipper systems will be favored in this pattern east of the Rockies. Rounds of precipitation, mainly snow, over a cold northern plains Midwest. And Great Lakes next week with lake effect snow with this system. Temperatures across the upper Midwest Monday will be close to 20 degrees below average. Lows around -10 degrees will be experienced from the northern plains. Portions of the Midwest, Great Lakes region, and the Northeast, Monday through Friday. Mostly sunny conditions along with pleasant temperatures. Ranging from the mid-60s to mid-70s is forecasted for the southwestern deserts region, including areas around Phoenix. Arizona. An area of high pressure will remain over the southwestern U.S., which will bring mostly sunny and perfect weather conditions throughout the week. For those of you who will be experiencing sub-zero temperatures, please remember to bring your pets inside. And stay warm as a large portion of the country will be experiencing a deep freeze this coming week. Now we send it back to Pedro.
That will do it for this week's weekly news report. As always, thank you for watching and have a good week. Gracias por ver el video y que tengan una gran semana.